Amigas, Commodore Amigas. Who here is a Commodore Amiga? Anyway, everything's gonna be fine. I've decided, after a lot of stress and worry, I finally concluded that everything is going to be fine. But Eric, how do you know everything's going to be fine? Well, because we decided not to sell this house. That makes things a lot easier. We're just gonna stay in this house even though there's construction going on. And we got that rental property. They accepted our bid. We're entering into escrow. And Rachel and I are gonna have the cutest job ever. We're gonna have the cutest job ever. If you want to be in a Hallmark movie and have a cute job, you should be me and Rachel. Because we're gonna have such a cute job. We're right next to this rental property we got, so we're like 10 minutes away. So we're just gonna operate it accordingly. I emailed Anthrax. Good to see you. It is I, Eric, with exclamation points and all. So, I've been stressing like Captain Stress of the Stress Machines over the figuring out how we're gonna move out of this house, get a new house, etc., all that shit, right? But now that we're gonna just stay here for a while, things are a lot more straightforward. I don't have to worry about the logistics of that whole thing. We don't have to move anytime soon. That's the official first bong rip of the day. I know, thank God everything is going to be fine. Except Barbara. Don't forget about her. And we're very much looking forward to having some guests come up here. And it's also the case that we need to clean in anticipation of guests. But it's thirdly the case that I have no amphetamines. Oh, sure. I would love to get some amphetamines. But that's not going to happen anytime soon. So I'm just going to have to tough it out like a big boy and get some things done without amphetamines. What? I know you say. What? Is that even possible? To get anything done without amphetamines? Well, to answer that, let me just say this. This guy, you, have something in your eyes. The light, the heat, your eyes, in your eyes. That guy has something in his eyes. So, now that everything's going to be fine, now what do we do? You know, it's like we were panicking or stressing. Now we're not. What does that mean? Does it mean that we should all just go away? No, that's not what it means. It means we should all stay here. This looks painful. Well, He's used to it because, you see, he has something in your eyes. Oh, Peter Gabriel. You're such a goofball. Alright, I'll tell you what we'll do. It seems unlikely to do us any good at all. But we'll go through these things and see if we can scrape out a little DMT for add on to our morning bong rip. It's just being healthy, really. It's good common sense health. Alright, so obviously I'm not getting very much DMT out of here. But even a little bit is better than none. So I was pleased this morning to see from Corey a message on Signal. He's been having a rough time of it, I guess. Needs a friend, you know. And I am that friend. You may recall, if you were paying attention to the live streams a few days ago, that I was having a be mad at Corey thing because he was attacking me for no good reason. But in fact, a lot of people say, sometimes you sort of let go of your friend or whatever. I'm not giving up on Corey. I'm not abandoning him. He's more than just my friend. He's Corey. And that's important. Corey is important. So, hopefully he'll call me today. Looking forward to chatting with him. Hopefully he'll just give me the lowdown. Hopefully he can come up here for the Christmas party. That'd be great. Hi, Winston's mom. Well, you know what? That seemed to maybe do a little bit something extra than the average bong rip. I had to get a little Dimitri on there, after all. Yeah, I can taste it in my lungs a little bit. If all the world were DMT, I'd smoke it all the time. DMT's fun. DMT helps me to feel a little bit more on drugs. I guess that's really the number one problem in the world. It's too hard to get drugs. I can't get it. That's why I have to scrape the remnants from these things I once had. You can get it from the dark web, but I don't know how to do that. Ew. In an ideal world, we'd all have as much DMT as we want. And as much amphetamines and whatever else we want. But this is not an ideal world. And we have to get by with less than the ideal. Is the dark web a compilation of the dark sides of everyone's mind? I'm not gonna lie, Hester, sometimes you worry about me. I'm sure you know more about what you're doing than I do, however. Well, I mean, it's understandable to worry. Like, if you're worried specifically about big financial stuff that I'm doing. But what I'm doing is about as conservative as it could possibly be. If you're worried about drugs, I mean, the only drugs I do are basically weed. I get my Adderall once a month. It lasts like a week. That's it. The fact that I have a little bit of scrapings of DMT to put on a bong rip is not certainly anything to worry about. I've had those scrapings for months, and I haven't even messed around with them until just recently. The thing is, I guess the most important thing to remember is that I quit drinking. I quit meth. You shouldn't compare Eric now against Eric doing no substances. You should compare Eric now against Eric being a completely strung out addict. Addict. I always get those words confused. Addict is up there. Addict is right here. They don't give me a week's supply. They give me a month's supply, but Rachel and I do it in a week. Rachel does like maybe around 10 of them. I do about 20 of them. And they're gone. It takes like 9-10 days. But you know, it's like it doesn't work as well for me as it used to either. Makes me productive for about a day or two, and then it makes me just tweak out on live streaming and watching TV. So, you know, I'm easing into old age, taking it easier in some regards, you know. I'm trying not to be so Eric-y. But at the same time, I'm very much a product of what's come before. Amphetamines give me TESE. Well, they give me SE. They make me do stuff. But I don't know. I actually feel a little Dimitri'd out at the moment. Or at least put it this way, I've got much more of the drug sweats than I would if I had just pulled the bong rip. So, what would be on the light web? You're on the light web right now, Money. I don't know how to get to the dark web. Even if I did know, I don't have sufficient or the right kind of crypto to buy stuff. It just seems like a big hassle. Highway. Winston's mom, Eric, everyone. Highway to you too, Boba Fett. I mean, I get it. I'm not, by objective measures, a person who lives history's most healthy life. But I'm who I am, you know. Rachel and I are doing the best we can. It's not always easy, and it seems like no matter where you are situationally in life, you just kind of adjust your frame of shitty to great accordingly. Like, whether you're here, you still have shitty to great. Whether you're here, you still have shitty to great. It still feels the same to you, regardless of where it actually is. Um, Obviously, if you're in shitty circumstances, you're probably down at the bottom of that thing a lot more frequently than the top. But good circumstances don't put you at the top of it either. You know, life is difficult. And when it's not at least somewhat difficult, it's, if not exactly boring, unfulfilling. No, everything's going to be fine. Why does that make you think something bad happened? Everything's going to be fine. We're not selling this house. We are not moving. We decided to just deal with the fact that people are going to be building a house across the street. Because it's like we were kind of looking for some intermediate house to go to as we set up the rentals and shit. Well, this qualifies just fine as an intermediate house. The only thing that makes it intermediate at all is the fact that there's going to be construction. So rather than take a loss on this house and stuff, it just finally hit me yesterday. Hey, Eric, since you're going to be managing this property that's 10 minutes away from your current house, you're going to need to do things like take their trash away. Why don't you just stay here where you have everything set up well to actually manage that property from here? And not moving changes everything. The big thing that was just driving me insane was trying to figure out the logistics of moving. Are we going to buy another house to live in first, then sell this one? How long is this going to sit on the market? How much of a loss are we going to take on it? Etc. What about the cats, having to move them again and again? All that kind of stuff. It was really the idea of leaving this place which kicked us into gear because we did not want to live with construction across the street or a house right across the street. Kicked into gear a plan that was in the works anyway to get rental properties, divest the portfolio into rental properties. We have income properties that produce monthly income, you know. But in the end, the catalyst for the whole thing that we needed to get out of here, sell this house before they started construction, yada yada. Well, that ended up being the one thing that we could sacrifice on. I think Rachel and I are in full agreement about it. Right. Well, it's not just that they're going to be doing construction. It's that once they're done, there'll be a house above us across the hill looking down on our house, which we don't really like that idea, you know. Sure, we have some trees in between on this privacy hill of ours, but I don't feel as though that's going to be adequate privacy, you know. We already have a house right down there, so it's not like we're isolated anyway. But and we do have these shutters in here, which are fantastic. These are called plantation shutters. These kind of shutters. And I was saying to Rachel, instead of moving, well, you might as well just put plantation shutters in the day room. It'll keep it. It'll be an additional noise preventer because it's quieter down here than it is upstairs. And it's just even if putting in plantation shutters upstairs is kind of expensive, it's a lot less expensive than taking a loss on this house, moving, meow, meow, meow. So we may be overestimating the noise. That's possible. I've noted that they're doing construction down on Heights Cove, and that they seem to be very careful about doing it just during the day hours, like not pushing it too late into the evening and not starting too early in the morning and stuff. Hopefully these contractors across the street are going to be equally considerate. So making that decision was a big deal. You know, it untangled a bunch of tangles. Right, but depending on the construction team you get, some of them might want to start right at 8 a.m. or something. Some of them are a little bit more like, let's be considerate to the neighbors, start at 9 or 10. The cone putters have been very busy lately. They are repaving the roads back into this area because they buried the power lines back there, and they're finally covering the part of the road that's been like sand forever. It's like a good foot taller than it used to be now, where they repaved it. So there's so many cone putters yesterday. I tell you this about cone putters. For whenever there's like one or two of them doing a job, there's at least 6 of them standing around doing nothing. It's got to be a 6-to-1 ratio among cone putters. 6 people do nothing for one who's doing something. Do you think that ratio is accurate, Rachel?
What?
That for cone putters, it's a 6-to-1 ratio. For one person who's doing something, 6 are standing around.
Yeah.
And one of my parents' house, there's always construction around. There's no problem generally unless you want to sleep during the afternoon. Is it possible that Mariposa is benefiting from Biden's infrastructure plans? All over the country, there are improvements being made. Maybe they don't make this. No. I'm I'm pretty sure that in this instance it has everything to do with PG&E. PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric, uh, started one fire a few years back with when one of their, like, due to some transformer blowing up or power line coming down or something, and electricity starting a fire. So in areas where there's high fire risk, like Mariposa, they've begun burying the power cables underneath the street. And so basically, PG&E is trying to avoid liability by spending like a wildly disproportionate amount of money preventing fires for the few people who live back here, you know, while people in the city, part of their PG&E bill has to pay for this stuff that's going on, you know. But anyway, PG&E is expensive, and that's why the roads are being repaved and stuff. It's it's a PG&E thing. I mean, our roads needed fixing anyway back here, but that's Mariposa County doing that, and they do that whenever storms come and give the roads problems. You know, there's a lot of dirt roads in Mariposa County that get maintained by the county as well. So, also Mariposa County is very, like, libertarian. Rachel and I went to the Sportsman's Cafe yesterday and the day before, for that matter, because we were looking at stuff and doing stuff. Um, they have a sign up there that says, okay, so maybe PG&E is getting money from the federal government as a loan. That's possible. Anyway, what was I saying? I don't even know. I don't know what I was saying. That's why they're repaving the roads. That's why we have so many companies. But also, last year really tore up the roads because it was like the worst storm season ever. And you see here in the Mariposa Gazette, there's this article here called Healing Helping. And it shows burn area and people doing prescribed burns and stuff. Because the county's still, quote unquote, healing from the fires that happened before we got here. Certainly the land is. Yeah, wildfires. Well, I don't think we're at any particular risk for fire now. A lot of the possible fuel around us has burned. And, you know, the forest is coming back in some places, and in other places, it looks more like maybe meadow will will take over that spot. Like in some of the super hot burn spots, I don't think I think it was too hot for seeds to survive because there are some areas of hill that were much slower in growing vegetation on them than others. But I feel a great deal of relief knowing that we're staying here now. I guess I've really settled into this place, and it's home, you know. I was troubled before. Um, well, actually, the lights part, I'm only going to put one string of white lights along the top eaves. But that part I have to do myself. But I don't have any lights to untangle. I have to go buy some. Oh no, we bought some already. We got some white lights. Although I don't remember if that's for the tree or the house. Anyway, I'll put it on my house, and if we need more, we'll get more. So yeah, it's about time to decorate for Christmas. Otherwise, Santa won't come all over my chimney. This year, I'm hoping Santa sticks his candy cane in my stocking and comes all over my chimney. What do you guys think? It's going to be a very sexual Christmas. Santa baby, come inside my chimney tonight. I think I put all that shit in the master bedroom. I'm sorry, the primary bedroom. Master bedroom is racist. Racist against slaves. Anyway, that's the master bedroom. All the other rooms are slave quarters. So, like last night, Rachel started out with me in the master bedroom, and then when the cat took up too much space, she went up to the slave quarters. We don't have any slaves. We just have slave quarters. Okay, money. Everybody who has a master bedroom also has slave quarters. That doesn't necessarily mean you can afford slaves. Slaves are expensive. I'm very sure that Rachel and I would not want to have, even if we're a very obedient slave, would not want to have a permanent third person in here doing things and just generally taking up space. We'd have to feed the slave. It would occupy one of the slave quarters. It's not worth it. Slaves are like boats. You don't want one. On the list, if this were Family Feud, things you don't want to buy, you should put on there boats, slaves, um, a horse. You don't want to buy a horse. Bad idea. Um, luxury car. Bad idea to buy a luxury car. Don't get a Mercedes. You're just wasting your money. You just need a car to drive you from place to place. It doesn't need to be all super fancy. What else don't you need? It isn't a waste of money. It feels great. What, having a luxury car? Well, some of them can be quite comfortable. You know, I will admit that driving Corey's Jaguar, it was very comfortable. I liked it. It was a nice car. I remember one time riding in the passenger seat of this Chinese lady's car. I was working with her kid on stuff. I don't know where she lived, but it was like a gated community and freaking Diamond Bar or someplace like that. And I was riding in the passenger seat of her Mercedes. Okay, kitty, I'll watch you eat. And she drove around a corner, and it's like the seat reached out and grabbed me and pulled me back towards the middle. I was like, wow. Look at you go. That's pretty impressive, Mercedes. You compensate for corners like that? That's pretty crazy. For the passenger, you know, to make it more comfortable to ride around. Anyway, I was pretty impressed with that. If I were gonna get a fancy car, though, I'd rather get a classic car, like a cherried out Corvair. Although probably not a Corvair up here because we have so many windy roads and they do fishtail. So something like that though. Something cool old classic car with maybe a convertible, you know. Then Rachel and I would drive around and be like, oh, yeah, look at us. But that's a low priority. Our current car, the Mini Cooper, has a lot of miles on it. I need to take it in to get an oil change. But, it's got a shit ton of miles on it. Still going good. We'll see if we can get to 200,000 miles. We'll probably need to replace the clutch again. Like 10, 20,000 miles, I would guess. But the car's a trooper. Been a real trooper. I'm proud of it. It's not needed much maintenance. It does burn oil, but who doesn't burn a little oil these days? What are you looking at, kitty? Yes, that's Capio. She's coming in here. She's your sister. It's okay. She's not here to attack you. Relax. Trouble. Hello, Trouble. Eat. Eat, my friend. Don't worry about Capio. She's not going to bother you. This cat and his anxious attachment style. I hope Corey does call me today and talk to me. I want him to be okay. He needs to get away from his horrible life. I mean, she's not a horrible person, but she's horrible to him. Both the cats are eating. I guess this is kitty cat eating hour, which means I have to sit here at the kitchen table. I get the interest of the evolution of weapons, just think the electricity part is odd. You wouldn't buy ownership of the sun? Well, lice, skin brandings, knives that pop out of your skin like Wolverine. Those are good things to not want to buy. The sun. Well, I mean, if you could, if email anthrax, you could ensure that everybody who used the sun had to pay you a couple of cents, then you'd be pretty rich. If you could charge for sunlight. The only reason you wouldn't buy ownership of the sun is because you don't think you can charge for sunlight. That would be, but you can't stop people from getting the sun. So what you're saying, email anthrax, is you believe that even if you own the sun, people will just steal it from you because they can? Is that what you're saying? Do you have that little faith in humanity's honesty? Sure, people could steal sunlight from you, and you wouldn't be able to stop them. But there are plenty of honest people in this world, anthrax, who I'm sure would pay for sun if you owned it. The problem with owning the sun, I guess, really, is that owning the sun doesn't necessarily mean you own all the sunlight. That's really the issue here. Just because you own the sun doesn't mean you own all of the light that comes off of the sun. Like, I own the moon, and, it hasn't done me a bit of good yet. I haven't earned a single penny off of it, even though some people use moonlight to see things, and they should be paying me. I have not earned a single penny off of it yet. But I'm sure it would be different with the sun. The thing is, by homesteading rules, to own the moon, you need to go there, live on it, build a house on it, and farm it. And then you can claim as much of it as you can farm as your own land. So if you could farm the whole moon, presumably by homesteading rules, you could own it. Now, email anthrax, listen. Once the sunlight hits the moon, it becomes absorbed by the moon, converted into moonlight, and then shot out from the moon. So, the thing is, what you need to remember is that moonlight is totally different than sunlight. Moonlight has moon particles in it. Sunlight has sun particles in it. Big difference. I suppose according to you, by your logic, email anthrax, by your logic, that's sunlight. It's not though. It's actually fluorescent light. I'm not stealing your sunlight. Your sunlight is willingly coming to the moon to be converted into moonlight because it's sick of you. It's sick of you and your sun tyranny. Email anthrax' other name is the sun tyrant. I bet most people know him as. Sometimes tyrant of the sun. Meanwhile, I'm known as the enlightened queen of the moon. I would like to try to match my moods with the moon phase, such that on a full moon, I'm always excited and optimistic and happy. And as it gets to half, then I'm flat and normal. As it gets to new moon, that's when I'm like sleepy, hopefully not depressed, but I sleep. I don't think or talk much. Then life would be predictable if I could just match my moods with the moon phases. Or my moods could always be full moon. That'd be good too. But if that were the case, then I'd just have to be on too many drugs all the time. Wouldn't be sustainable. So, you know the old saying, live and learn and live. Love to learn and love to live to love and learn to love. And that's all. That's the old saying. The old saying that everybody says. Today's a good cartoon day. It starts off with a bit of a meh cartoon, not fantastic, but sometimes quite good. But it's going to be a meh episode, I know. This one plays out kind of like a soap opera. It's called Dago, Firefighter in Orange. It's better than you'd expect a firefighting anime to be. I did not expect much from a firefighting anime, but it's not bad. I should be able to peacefully watch something now rather than continually going around in my head about how we're going to manage all this shit now that we're staying here. Life is blessedly livable again. I don't have to worry about meow, 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 meow. It's all easy squeezy. It looks like this back tire that was low on air on my little wilderness car. It appears to be holding the air just fine. I refilled it with an air pump, and I haven't checked the tire pressure again, but it looks like it's not low at all. It looked low before, so if it does have a leak, it's a slow leak. I do have a can of Fix a Flat, which I suppose I'll take with me when we take out the little wilderness car. But I'm glad to see that it's holding air. we'll have guests coming up this upcoming week soon, so we really need to get this place whipped into shape. I'm considering the possibility of getting cleaning ladies. But I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Regarding that stuff, I'm still being very much Enneagram 7, avoiding thinking about how we're going to get this house ready, and so little time with no Adderall. This whole moving thing threw everything into just a mess. It's like Rachel and I cannot successfully direct our attention to a Christmas party and home tour of this house while concurrently directing our attention to selling this house, buying rental properties. It's like we cannot do it. It's just not possible. The decision to stay here has made everything different, but I haven't fully adjusted yet. I also have a general tiredness feeling that stems from this being kind of the tail end of Sleepy Week. We're getting into kind of the tail end of it. I'm still not fully rested up from Adderall usage, but I have a dream. I have a dream of a future where I accomplish things. A dream of a Sunday spent doing chores. Mrs. Mom, that may be just the encouragement I need to make it happen. That may just be. Big size. Well, big size for little Eric. What are you going to do? I guess I'll smoke another cigarette. It's the only thing that one can do sometimes. So, anyway. I'm not going to be streaming for a particularly long time this morning. I'll probably smoke a cigarette, go inside, wrap it up, and watch a couple cartoons, go back to bed. There are times when I'm just feeling thoroughly avoidant. Like I just want to have my mind taken away from life and stuff, watch a cartoon, go back to bed, sleep some more. I'm in a lot of ways still very much a kid. And I find life scary, challenging, whatever, because it requires me to be adult-like. I've tried watching One Piece. I still try watching it occasionally. Delilah recommends it. She says after a certain point it starts getting really good, but I guess I haven't gotten to that point yet. I don't know. I kind of like half watch it. To me, it's just kind of whatever, but I don't know. It's obviously better in Japanese with subtitles than it is in English. The advantage One Piece has is that there are a jillion episodes of it, so it's not like you're gonna run out of it if you get into it. The disadvantage it has is I can't seem to get into it. But maybe if I started like at episode 500, they would have really found their stride, you know. Oh, I feel like I've exhausted all the possible anime one can watch. I'm left with just waiting each week, every day for the new shit to come out. I did enjoy Blue Eye Samurai on Netflix. So Netflix isn't completely worthless, I guess. And there's another one that I'm sort of, another samurai one I'm sort of watching on Netflix that's kind of eh. Okay, you've earned it. You have earned it. You successfully made me have to go poo. So you get to join me for the poo of a lifetime. You get to share in this wonderful SI experience. Well, I'd call that a definite improvement over my pre-poo state of being. Well, I've got a typing session to upload today. I guess I'll do that when I end the stream. Even though that'll make it hard to watch anything while I do that. Maybe I'll wait till I go to bed. I'm definitely going back to bed. You know, it's like, I feel pretty tired. As the French would say, I'm fatigué. Which means fatigued in Latin. No, it's in French actually. Am I really fatigued or am I just tired? I suspect I'm really just tired, not fatigued. Fatigued would seem to suggest that I'd have done some sort of work to make me fatigued. You know, like chopping wood or something. Chopping wood. I chop no wood. How much wood could a wood chop if a wood chop could chop wood? I can't chop any wood, in part because I don't have an axe, and in part because I don't have any place to burn wood inside the house. We don't have, unfortunately, a wood-burning fireplace. This house was made after those things are made illegal. Well, they're not illegal to have. It's not allowed to build new houses with wood-burning fireplaces. Because air pollution and fire, that's why. That is why. Well, that was a fine enough poop. The Truman Show. I don't think that I'm in the Truman Show. I don't believe that there's secretly cameras around watching me. What I do believe is that there should be. So, anyway, I'm going to end this stream. Thank you all for being here. Love you all. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. And keep an eye out for an upcoming typing session today.